Welcome back to the Name Redacted podcast, America's most beloved podcast, the most downloaded Red Sox podcast in the world. Jake is back. Jake is back. He's out the hospital. 5 straight wins, a sweep of the A's. He's got all the fluids. Every IV that you can think of was hooked up to our dear friend Jake, who is battling in the hospital for not 1, not 2, 3 fucking days, and he's back on the podcast so that we don't sound like we're on fucking helium.
So I didn't listen to it. Did it actually sound like that?
I didn't listen to it either. I just saw the post complaining about it. I was like, listen, man, we're out here battling. We're down a man. We're down the point person. We're thankful that Jeremy was able to step in during Jake's absence.
J-Dog.
Jeremy. But yeah, Jake, how are you feeling?
Feeling a lot better. It was funny. I woke up at like 6:30 on Monday morning. I was like, I wonder how they're going to address it or if they're going to address it. Jared's just like, welcome back to the Name Redacted podcast, blah, blah, blah. Jake's in the hospital. I was just like,
straight with it.
I was like, all right, that's how they're going to do it.
I mean, listen, I said the show's got to go on because that's what Jake would want.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've revealed a lot of personal stories on this podcast and things from my life.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever reaches out to see if I'm okay or what's going on. Someone, 2 or 3 people actually reached out and were like, hey, can you give me an update? Is Jake actually going to be okay? People would not ask if I was okay, that they know, but they wanted to know if Jake was out of the hospital, the behind the scenes knowledge. So
people love Jake.
Clearly, your life's more important than mine.
Definitely. How many responses did you get on Twitter? People asking about your well-being.
Yeah, so I heard that at like 6:30. I knew like 8:30 when people started waking up. The texts, the DMs were rolling through. And Tyler was telling people I was about to die. So
yeah, that's true.
It felt that way.
I think that's why people were concerned. But no, I appreciate all the love. Feeling a lot better now.
That's good. That's good. I felt like I was going to die without Jake. I didn't know what the hell I was going to do.
Listen, J-Dog and me did not hit it off, clearly. So, like, I need my guy.
You don't really hit it off with anybody, though.
Did you pick him because you knew he wouldn't like me, Jake?
No, I think that just naturally happened.
Yeah. There was no pre-planning to that. We just kind of were like, all right, we'll give it a shot, see if Jeremy is going to be Tyler's Jake. And it didn't happen for you.
What happened to Bullet?
He died.
He did. And you know what? Maybe your friendship with Jeremy, maybe that won't be dead for very long. I don't know. I hope you guys hit it off. Maybe if you get a second chance at some point.
We don't fuck with each other.
Right. I agree. I was just trying to make you feel better.
Didn't help.
It's going to be a quick episode today because Tyler is binge drinking tonight. Is that what you said?
Something like that, actually.
Tyler's going out tonight. I literally have to leave for 98.5 The Sports Hub. Tony Maz, 6 to 7 every Wednesday. I have to leave in like 20 minutes. But we weren't even going to do an episode, but we figured, how are we going to leave you guys hanging on the Stop and Shop Look Ahead? So we're going to break down the matchups for this Chicago Cubs series to kick off the second half. But before we do that, Tyler, I think there's something we have to talk about.
Something huge we have to talk about.
Something huge. Well, it's 2 things, but it's 2 things in one, really. Why you look confused?
The 2 things in one.
Yeah, I mean, Roman Anthony.
That's my thing.
Being a top 10 prospect, but then like the side note is that he's leapfrogged Marcelo Meyer as the top prospect in the system. And listen, I'm not saying people are making way too big of a deal out of that, being like, oh, Marcelo Meyer's not the best prospect in the Red Sox system anymore. It's like, no. He's the number 10 prospect in all of baseball.
On Baseball
top
Prospectus.
10 prospect. Yeah, he's a top 10 prospect in Major League Baseball. It just so happens that you now have 2 top 10 prospects. Whoever did the rankings, I think they did this just to cause chaos.
That's exactly what happened. Like, it's very similar to me entering the year. Miguel Blaise was listed as the 20th best prospect on Fangraphs top 100. This is kind of the game of the prospect world. Like, who can be the first publication that's hot on a name before anyone or willing to make that leap, right? And we're watching what Roman Anthony's doing at high A. It's absolutely ludicrous. There's no other way to frame it. The dude has a 1331 OPS, 7 jacks, and like 17 games or something like that. It is absolutely berserk. All the stuff we talked about when he was at Salem and everything, which is an awful place to hit, right? Horrendous place to hit. All the under the hood stuff that people were talking about, it's coming to fruition in front of us. He's hitting just bombs.
Roman Anthony's hitting 362 with a 486 on base and an 845 slug. It's a 1331 OPS, 7 homers, a triple, 5 doubles, and 58 at bats.
16 Ks to 14 walks. So like that's the plate approach. Like it's ludicrous. And he just turned 19 at like the very beginning of May. He is that young. But yeah, this whole thing with them putting him at 9, this is them trying to call their shot a little bit and being aggressive. I think if you look, like people were tweeting me saying it was fake. I got a whole bunch of that. Like, you're just making shit up. Like, I want to see the actual rankings. At Baseball America, he's at 91. Kylie just had him at their midseason update at 49. It takes a little bit. MLB Pipeline hasn't done their midseason yet, so he's not even on that list. But this is where the hype has been. He's arguably the biggest breakout prospect across baseball this year. And, props to the Red Sox for how they went about drafting him. He's the comp for Eduardo Rodriguez, the comp pick. So, yeah, third pick in that draft. You go underslot with Mikey Romero. These are the cool things that can happen. Very similar to Blaze Jordan. Now, Roman Anthony's on a different level here, but trying to act like, first off, Roman Anthony isn't that guy. Go look at the friggin' stats. There's a reason they didn't care what he was doing at Salem and he got that promotion. This is nothing but excellent news for the Boston Red Sox. When you talk about a system, whether it could replenish itself and consistently pump out these guys, the reality of the Red Sox system throughout really the last 20 years, I would say, and Jared, you go even farther back, so maybe you can break it down better. It felt like the system would hit this high point and then it would always come all the way back down to the ground. You'd end up in like 30th or towards the very back end. Well, you've graduated Jarren Duran, Brian Bayo, Tristan Casas. That doesn't include the Winks, the Cutter Crawfords, all the names that have come up in the last few years. And you're slowly sitting here and saying, holy shit. Heim has built a constant pipeline where you're getting these guys every year. Every level has guys. There's still Ceddanne Rafaela and Nick York, Meyer obviously in the system. Luis Peral is breaking out and getting his promotion to high A. Welcoming Gonzalez. There is so much to be excited. You go down to the DSL, what Cespedes is doing down there. You want to talk about a kid who's fucking exploding? Alex Spear said the other day, he might be the best hitting prospect to come through since Rafael Devers. And, by the way, what happened to Miguel Blaze, who was the biggest name probably coming into this year everyone was talking about outside of Meyer? Oh, well, he had a shoulder dislocation, so this whole year gets completely thrown out. He's still in the top 100 on every list. How can you not love that as a Red Sox fan and be thrilled?
So that's why, like I said, when I go to talk to Maz and it's all doom and gloom, and I guarantee you at some point in that hour that I'm on with Tony, the conversation will steer towards how long does Heim have left? And does he even make it to the end of the year and stuff like that? Maz didn't even want Heim to do the draft. He wanted him fired before the draft, but he was like, well, they all do the homework in the months and years leading up, whatever. So it's not necessarily the draft. But then he'll say he doesn't want Heim to even be around for the trade deadline. Well, that's just a very muddied conversation anyway, because as we talked about on Baseball is Dead this morning, who knows what major players are going to be moving teams this year? There's so many teams that think that they're in it right now that I don't even know that there's going to be a blockbuster trade at all. Never mind what the Red Sox do. What about what any team does? I don't know that move is out there this year because of the new playoff format, but I guess we'll see. Either way, to Tyler's point, let Heim cook. I mean, he's cooking right now. And I think that what Red Sox fans are conditioned to think, and by the way, you're not wrong for feeling this way, because I feel this way a little bit too. We are conditioned to either expect or see a contender every single year. That's what we've been conditioned to expect ever since, I was in middle school to high school. You were in contention every single year until you weren't. You at least started the year with those expectations, and then you see what hand you're dealt, and we'll see what happens as you go. But 2006, I think that was third place. 2010, third place. 14, you were coming off a World Series title. 2012, you were coming off the best Red Sox team ever. 15, you at least went out and spent a bunch of money. So you're talking about even like the years that didn't finish the way that you wanted them to, you at least still had the expectation going in. In the Heim era, we've had plenty of teams where we knew at the start of the season, this team's cooked. And that's not something that we're used to. That's not something that you should ever be used to in a market like this. So now I think when you talk about the plan, what's Heim's plan? You traded Mookie, you let Xander walk. Like, what's the plan? What's the direction? You got to look under the hood at all these players that are coming up right now. I mean, the player, like talking about, they better fucking play or pay Rafael Devers. He came from the system. Oh, they let Xander Bogaerts walk. The franchise is fucked. He came from the system. I think what Heim is doing right now is what Theo Epstein tried to do and did to an extent do during his time here, which was turn the Red Sox into a player development machine where at least when Theo was here, he was spending John Henry's money and the free agent dollars. And still, we've had this conversation a billion times. It takes two to tango. Like maybe Heim wanted to pay someone and John Henry was like, yeah, I'm not writing that check. We don't know those conversations. And Tyler made the point a few weeks ago about how they run a tight ship over there. There's a lot of things that happen behind closed doors under the Heim regime that never see the light of day. That doesn't mean that those conversations aren't happening. So we don't know the full extent of, Heim wanting to spend money, not being allowed to spend money. What we do know is what's public. And what's public is that the Red Sox, since Heim came over here, have jumped from dead last when he got here for farm system rankings to now having 2 prospects in the top 10. And that is with some of these names that we've been excited about for the last few years having graduated. They are on the big league roster right now. So yeah, like I get when some people are just like, oh, the Bluminati and Heim can do and say whatever he wants and you guys will just lap it up and blah, 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 blah. We will never be able to fully process, grade, critique Heim Bloom as the chief baseball officer of the Boston Red Sox until we see his guys come up and make a difference. Or if he takes his guys and turns those into proven big league talent via trade. Like, we don't know. Like, it's like, I get that 5 years is, how many years would you give it for Heim?
I think
3.
Yeah, I think at least he deserves next year, and I don't count 2020.
No. I'm saying how many years would you give him? Like, you're not counting 2020
nope.
and 19. Yeah, so it's basically what 20.
It's 21, 22, 22 and 23.
Okay, so he's essentially been at the helm for 3 years. Is that a long enough leash to make an organizational impact? We're not talking big league roster. We're talking full scope, major league organization. Is 3 years enough time to do that?
No, and you want to throw in the other factor? His first draft had fucking 5 rounds. He had 5 rounds. It wasn't like he had a 20-round draft he was working with and you got all these other picks. No. And what happened in that 2020 draft? Nick York, that guy, he's having a really good year at AA right now at 21. That's not bad. Blaze Jordan.
MLB Futures game.
Yeah, Blaze Jordan, who just tore up High A and just got promoted to AA. Not bad. Shane Drohan, who is the best pitching prospect in the system and got promoted to AAA this year.
MLB Futures game.
And that, 2 of those guys. And then Jeremy Wu Yell, and he's had Tommy John. We get it. If you have 3 guys that are, pushing forward with that kind of stuff, you get excited. And that doesn't include, the 2021 draft in 2022, where, dude, hitting on a guy like Roman Anthony, just sitting here and thinking about it, and I don't think this is, being, crazy or saying anything like that, to see a prospect rise that quickly through rankings, I'm not calling him Mookie Betts. I want to make that clear. But was that the last time we saw a prospect explode that quickly, like through rankings like that, like to this ridiculous level? Who else come?
Probably like Blake Swihart.
Blake Swihart, maybe throw into that conversation as well. But like in terms of recent, and I'm not calling him Mookie Betts, but to, immediately go first year, full season of pro ball, you're 19 and people are putting you in the top 10 prospect in all of baseball. That's crazy. And we're talking about a mindset that's like a fusion of like Christian Yelich and like, some Bryce Harper-ness to him. And I'm not saying he's going to become those guys, but that's the skill set we're looking at here with elite patience, power, ability to work, a high batting average onto it as well. I don't know if he'll stick in center field. That's a fair question, but he's at least a, above average right fielder. How are you not thrilled? And people want to go and send these shots at Marcel Meyer. First off, I'll tell you right now, Meyer will be ranked ahead of him on every other list. This is their shot. They're going super high with it. Marcel Meyer, he's hitting 196 at AA. The worst thing you can do when evaluating prospects is just look at a stat line because you will not know what's going on. It's a 196 batting average. He has a 186 BABIP down there. 300 is just like regular luck. So the guy's been unlucky. He's still hitting for power, 6 homers in 29 games. He's even cut his K percentage down by 4 points. It was like 22% or whatever. It's now down to 18. So he's making strides. He's just been a little unlucky. And guess what? He's adapting to the level. It's his first taste of AA. A lot of prospects are going to hit that bump. Let's not start crapping on a guy because, now it's fun to crap on the Red Sox because they have too many good prospects, right? That's it. Oh, sorry. The guy you drafted in the, second comp round or whatever in 2022 is better than your 4th overall pick in 2021. What kind of argument are you mad about here? He should just automatically be better? No, it's not like Meyer's stock took a dip. It's just you have 2 great prospects that any team in the sport would love to have. That's it. Like, is that a hard concept for people to put through their head here?
Yeah, it is. It is because listen, people are impatient and they should be. They should be. All right, we got to take a break and talk about Zyn nicotine pouches. We're always talking about what a team needs to get to number 1, but Zyn nicotine pouches are already there. Zyn has helped millions of people achieve a lasting change, earning the title of America's number 1 nicotine pouch. If you're a smoker or you're a dipper looking to make a change, look no further than Zyn. Zyn is made with 6 simple ingredients and is available in a wide range of varieties, including spearmint, citrus, and even coffee. And it's available in 2 strengths so you can control your nicotine satisfaction. Because it's discreet, you can enjoy it anywhere, anytime, so you never have to miss a moment of the game. Plus, every can of Zyn earns you points towards premium items like tailgating gear, top-of-the-line tech, Zyn swag, even gift cards. Find your Zyn at your local convenience store or online at Zyn.com. That's Zyn, ZYN.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. If you're a Red Sox fan, the expectation is championship. The expectation is contender. We haven't had that in years. Like, that has not been the expectation in years. Even 21. Okay, they got to the ALCS. That was not the expectation. It just wasn't. So it's been a while since the expectation was championship, since the expectation was postseason. And I get the frustration. I do. But I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't. You should be. I'm not saying, hey, you guys are overreacting. I'm not saying that anyone's overreacting. I'm with you. I've gone on these rants before this year, being like, I'm fucking frustrated. I want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But then once you start to take a step back, you look at what the organization has in terms of prospects, and the Red Sox are not built. They're not the fucking Oakland A's. Okay. You're not just going to have these prospects, hope that they come up, hope that they become all-stars, platinum glove award winners, and then you go. We're not the Kansas City Royals. This isn't Dayton Moore running the ship over here. The Red Sox win championships by having young, cost-controlled talent, prospects that come up, and they're key pieces that are then supplemented by the superstars. 2018 had David Price for $217 million. They traded their top prospects to bring in Chris Sale. And then you had Mookie Betts, a homegrown talent, winning the MVP that year. That's the mix. That's just how the Red Sox do things around here. And maybe that's a Dave Dombrowski approach. Maybe they're trying to get away from the Dave Dombrowski approach of, well, we're not just going to have all these top prospects just to trade them. We're not going to do that. We want them to come up because we're hoping that they're good, and B, they're cheaper. They're cheaper than trading for these guys that we're going to give $30 million a year to somewhere down the line if we want to keep them. So it's wait and see still, but at least it could, think of it this way. Imagine if they were still the 30th ranked farm system in baseball and you still had the team what they are right now, which is still, I'm not going to write off this 2023 Boston Red Sox team. They've been, I know people don't like the word, they've been mid for a lot of the season, but guess what? They have a winning record right now. And the schedule kind of favors them coming out of the break as well.
That's what it is. You're competitive and you're seeing the farm system out of all the years here. This is the biggest leap I've seen the farm system take, where you have these amount of guys breaking out and you're seeing another wave coming through. That's what, tells me they have built a successful farm system here. Can you consistently get these guys coming through? And, what adds to this? It's like, it's not all about all these guys being on the Red Sox. That's a great point, Jared. The Nick Yorks, the Ceddanne Rafaelas, guys that if you look, they're in every trade conversation. You know what makes it more likely those guys get dealt? It's guys like Roman Anthony breaking out, Cespedes down there, Garcia, all the names coming up, the Paralysis of the world. You can't cling to everyone, but the more depth and the more names you see coming up means they can move some of these pieces. Because if you came into this year, if you gave Chaim truth serum, I give him credit for being patient with Jarren Duran. Well, he didn't know. He didn't know if he had to hold on to Ceddanne Rafael and hope he became a center fielder of the future. Now you can have these conversations about different guys and be like, can you package 2 or 3 of them? Can they be the Yoan Moncada, the Michael Kopechs, Alexander Basabe, like whatever it may be? Can you package these guys and get us that piece? This is how all this comes together. No one's asking you or telling you to say you can't be upset about, the Red Sox taking a step back and probably not going over the luxury tax and all these things this year. No, but you could sit there and be happy and appreciate the farm system making these gains. Because for you to have a 19-year-old putting those numbers up at high A, it's ridiculous. He's putting up ridiculous numbers. There's a reason people are drooling and freaking out about him. People just want something to cry and piss about and, all this different shit. It has nothing to do with Marcel Meyer. If you want to go and try to say Marcel Meyer sucks because Roman Anthony jumped him, what kind of takes are you giving me here? Oh, is the 9th prospect and the 10th prospect in baseball? Is there a friggin' difference? No. And all those evaluators will tell you the same thing. Once you get past 1 or 2 even, that whole thing, that whole group, it's a very, it's just basically what you prefer over one guy over the other. If I told you the Red Sox were going to have another guy jump into the top 10 this year, a lot of people would have guessed it was Miguel Bleis having a great year. Well, guess what? That guy, when he gets healthy, he's still going to be great. And you're also going to have Roman Anthony, and you're also going to have Marcel Meyer pushing the big league level. This is the vision. If you want to be like the Braves, you want to be like the Astros, you want to have these homegrown cores that you can go around and do all this stuff, this is how you do it. Have there been missteps along the way? Sure. No one's going to talk about 2022 like there wasn't a bunch. But this is the kind of stuff that's going to make it easier for Chaim to stick around.
So you would say that you feel positive about it?
This is some of the best news I've seen all year long. And I don't think that's an exaggeration whatsoever. To have a prospect breakout at this level, it's massive for the farm system. I had them. I know a lot of people want to say, well, Fangraphs had them as a top 10 system. It was slightly deceiving when that came out because Yoshida and Casas were in there. Well, you start pulling those names in and you plug in a guy who's going to be a definite top 40, top 50 prospect in the sport on other lists. That's where you want to be. That's how you keep this farm system going and justify some of the slower approach that's been coming here. This is what Chaim can sell John Henry and whoever it may be on that. Look, I'm showing you we can get these guys. This front office, we know how to, locate talent and get the best out of it.
I talked to Tyler after the news came out that the Red Sox had not 1 but 2 prospects in the top 10, and it sounded like he needed a cigarette.
It's awesome. I don't know how anyone else looks at it that way. This kind of Roman Anthony, dude. This is a guy with all these skill sets. You can say holy shit, he's just a major chip they didn't have before, a major chess piece. There's nothing to complain about. You should be happy and giving credit to the front office. And listen, Chaim, I know he's in on the first pick and all this different stuff. It's a lot of credit to the front office and that draft structure and how that's been there. So credit to them as well. But that's the stuff where I look at and say, you need a reason to have hope. That's a bunch of hope right there.
Hey, Jake, I know that you've been in the hospital, but I know that you probably lost some fluids, but I don't think you lost your love for Blue Moon. And I don't think that you lost your appreciation for our dear friend Tyler Milliken either. So if you could somehow combine the two and tell the folks at home about Blue Moon, that would be outstanding.
Beer is a tried and true baseball tradition, but Blue Moon was the only beer brewed by baseball. Blue Moon was born in a ballpark, first brewed at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Make it your one-of-a-kind baseball tradition whether you're at the park or watching from home. I sure as hell wasn't watching from home this weekend. I was watching from the goddamn hospital. And if it wasn't for Dallas Braden and his shitty-ass Oakland A's team getting swept by the Red Sox, I don't know if I would have made it through. I mean, there were multiple times during that stay where I thought, damn, I might be taking bullet for walks up in the great beyond here pretty soon. They were asking me, can we get you water? Can we get you food? What can we get you? I said, I only need 2 things. I need a sock sweep, and I need some Blue Moons. They wouldn't give me any Blue Moons, but I had some when I got home. With its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander, Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. Blue Moon was brewed by Baseball to give you a dose of nostalgia and get you excited for the new season. Why strike out with the same old beer when you can get something one-of-a-kind? Its bold flavor, bright color, and iconic orange slice ritual guarantee a one-of-a-kind beer experience perfect for spring weather. Best served with its signature orange garnish to showcase its beautiful bright color, a beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon, but you can enjoy it all season long. Keep baseball traditions alive with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Check out shop.bluemoonbrewingcompany.com for baseball merch and visit get.bluemoonbeer.com/rocket to find Blue Moon delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/rocket. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado Ale.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate you a lot. I feel like we told the people 20 minutes. You guys shockingly got more than 20 minutes. And we didn't even get into the Stop and Shop look ahead, which we're about to get into right now because the Red Sox are playing the Chicago Cubs this weekend to resume the second half. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to be an easy task. The Cubs are currently in the NL Central. They are 42-47. They do have a positive run differential at plus 26, but they're 7 games back of the Cincinnati Reds. They have a losing record, but it is not going to be an easy task for these Boston Red Sox this weekend, given the pitching matchup. So without further ado, the Stop and Shop look ahead is brought to you by Stop and Shop. Head on down to Stop and Shop and use the promo code section10 to get 10 cents off each tangerine when you buy at least 5 pounds of tangerines only at Stop and Shop using the promo code section10. Game 1, Brian Bale. By the way, very excited to announce the Red Sox not using an opener in any one of these games. 3 real starters are going in this series for the Boston Red Sox. I know, it's crazy. Game 1, Brian Bale versus Kyle Hendricks. Then you have James Paxton versus Marcus Stroman, followed by Cutter Crawford against Justin Steele, who I just interviewed in Chicago. Kyle Hendricks, 3-3, a 3.04 ERA, a 103 whip, 5.4 strikeouts per 9. He missed most of last year with a shoulder injury, forced him to miss the first 2 months of the season, debuting in late May. He even had to alter his arm path as part of the recovery. Whatever he did, it worked, though, because he's has his best whip, FIP, and walks per 9 since 2020. Best home runs per 9, hits per 9 since 2016, which was the year that he finished 3rd for the Cy Young voting. Not known for his strikeouts, but 5.4 is even low for him. Outside of his rookie year, his previous career worst was 6.5 in 2021. He has not topped 5 strikeouts in any game this year. He's coming off his worst start of the season right before the break, which came against the Yankees, 5 2/3, 10 hits, 4 earned, 5 strikeouts, and 2 bombs. He has never been a flamethrower, but he's actually gained velocity from returning from his shoulder injury. He was 86.5 last year and is 87.3 this year. Wow. He also is using his changeup as his number 1 pitch for the first time in his career. Opponents hitting just a $151 against it, 29% whiff rate. His Savant page is pretty funny looking. 5% in strikeout percentage, 2% in fastball velocity, 6th percentile in whiff rate, 93rd in exit velocity, 94th in walk rate, 89th in chase rate, 86th in hard hit rate. Cubs are 6-3 when he starts and have gone 5-1 in his last 6. Red Sox hitters, 247 with a 669 OPS. Justin Turner, 4 for 21, but half of his hits are home runs. Then we go to Brian Bale, our boy. Brian Bale, 6-5, 3.04 ERA, 119 whip, and a 7.9 strikeouts per 9. His last 12 starts, 72 1/3 innings, 19 earned runs, 19 walks, 62 strikeouts. 2.35 ERA, a 6.19 opponent's OPS. He's allowed 1 home run since May 18th. which I believe was that his last outing. I think it might have been. He's pitched into the 7th inning, 5 straight starts. The only time he didn't complete 7, he got pulled at 6 2/3. His FIP is still fighting with him from the early home runs, but it's down to 377. Bayo allowed a home run in his first 5 starts and has only allowed 3 since, 2 of which came in the same game. Red Sox are 9-5 when he pitches and 4-1 in his last 5. Cubs hitters 0-1 with a strikeout. It was Trey Mancini. Then James Paxton versus Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman 9-6, a 2.96 ERA, a 1.11 WHIP, and a 7.8 strikeouts per 9. He's an all-star. I don't think he went to the all-star game, but he is an all-star, having a strong season, likely be in the Cy Young conversation at some point this year. 2.96 ERA is the best of his career. 3.41 FIP is right around his career average. He's allowed only 6 home runs in 112 2/3 innings. That's pretty fucking nuts. He has a 0.8 home runs per 9 average. Very impressive. Half the home runs came in 1 start against the Dodgers in April. 8 starts this year of allowing 0 or 1 earned runs. Only 5 starts all year of 3 earned runs or more. He's allowed 1 home run since June 1st. Despite all the success, the last 3 starts have not been good. 14 innings, 17 hits, 15 runs, 12 of them earned, 7 walks, 15 strikeouts, a home run, a 7.71 ERA, a 7.41 OPS. He's only allowed 20 extra base hits all year, which is nuts. 12 doubles and 6 homers. He throws 3 pitches over 10% of the time. Sinker, slurve, cutter. Best average is 224. That's the sinker. Best slug is 318 against the cutter. He only throws his cutter to lefties. The slurve is the go-to pitch. 35% whiff rate, 200 batting average against. Cubs are 10-9 when he starts, and they've lost the last 3 straight. They hate scoring for him. 3.69 runs of support. Have only scored 5 runs 3 times. More than 5 runs 3 times in his 19 starts. Red Sox hitters 298 with a 788 OPS against them. Couple doubles, couple homers. That is Adam Duvall with the homer and Kike Hernandez with the home run. James Paxton, 5-1, a 2.73 ERA, an 0.98 WHIP, and a 10.3 strikeouts per 9. Only has a few starts left before the trade deadline. The fascinating decision could be looming for James Paxton. Has only allowed more than 3 earned runs once this year. He's allowed 4 home runs in his last 4 games, which is a little bit concerning, but his cutter, devastating this year. Opponents, 7 for 49. That's a 143 batting average. Limited damage, only 1 double and 2 homers with 20 strikeouts. 38% whiff rate is the highest of his 3 main pitches. The Red Sox are 5-5 when he starts, despite averaging 5.5 runs per game for him. Cubs hitters, 5 for 25. Trey Mancini, 3 for 14, couple homers. And Yan Gomes, 2 for 8 with a double and a homer. So that is Saturday. Then you have Sunday, Justin Steele. Did we run that interview, Jake? Yeah, we did. Couple episodes back, Justin Steele on Baseball is Dead. 9-2 with a 2.56 ERA, a 1.06 WHIP, and an 8 strikeouts per 9. The lefty has taken a huge leap in each of his first 3 seasons. 2020, a 4.26 ERA. 2021, 3.18. 2022, 2.56. And he's got 2.56.
The FIP's legit
this year. Yeah, FIP is 286.
Yep.
Yeah. Leads the MLB with a 1.72 ERA plus in the National League with a 0.4 home runs per 9. He's allowed 4 home runs in 91 1/3 innings. Unlike Stroman, the Cubs love scoring for him. 5.67 runs per game. 4 games with 10 plus runs and 6 of 8 plus runs. That's nuts. He's only allowed more than 3 earned runs twice this year in 16 starts. Only has 2 starts with 3 walks in a game. He's an innings eater too. Only failed to complete 5 innings in 2 games and has completed 6+ innings in 12 of 16 starts. He's basically a 2-pitch pitcher. 4-seam, 63% usage. Slider, 33% usage. The damage against those, slider 193 batting average and the 4-seam 250. The whiff rates are pretty comparable. 28% on the slider, 21% on the 4-seam. Baseball Savant loves him. And in the interview, I asked him if he knew what Baseball Savant was, and he said no. But Baseball Savant loves Justin Steele. 94th percentile in average exit velocity, 91st in hard hit percentage, 81st in barrel percentage, 79th in expected slug, and 82nd in chase rate. Red Sox hitter is 2 for 11 with a home run. And he will be going up against Cutter Crawford, who is 3-4 with a 4.11 ERA, a 1.16 whip, 8.5 strikeouts per 9. Crawford's stats are not pretty in the rotation, but he's putting the Red Sox in a position to win. On his last 4 starts, the Red Sox are 3-1, despite 20 2/3 innings, 21 hits, 9 earned runs, 4 walks, 17 strikeouts, 4 bombs, 797 OPS. That's a 3.92 ERA and a 4.88 FIP. He does his best work. This is weird. Does his best work with runners on base. 220 with a 573 OPS. With runners in scoring position, 261 with a 640 OPS. With the bases empty, 262 with an 804 OPS. He's allowed 10 home runs this year, and 9 of them have been solo shots. Something maybe consider going into the stretch full time. I don't know what that's about. The Red Sox are 6-11 when he pitches and 4-5 when he starts, and he has never faced the Cubs. Jake, since you are back from the dead, I'm going to give you the first pick. Again, that is Brian Bayo versus Kyle Hendricks on Friday, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. James Paxton versus Marcus Stroman on Saturday. That's 2:20 Eastern. And Cutter Crawford versus Justin Steele, 2:20 Eastern. What do you got, Jake?
This one's a hospital sweep.
Hospital sweep. Whoa. Jake's got the hospital fucking sweep of the Cubs in their fucking house in Chicago. Jake said, you know what? You guys can have your Wrigley Field. You guys can have your famous day games. You know what we're going to have? A sweep. 3 wins in 3 games. Go fuck yourself. That's what Jake's saying, which is interesting. I didn't think he was going sweep there, but he did. I have a feeling I know what Tyler's going to do. Tyler, what are you going to do here?
I hate you. You're going to make it seem like it was obvious. I am going to go 2 out of 3. And listen, I went 1 out of 3. Wow. I've been on the more negative side, but I think people, talking about this being an easy start, not really. When you look at the pitching, at least for this series as a whole.
No, this is very hard.
You're going to have to fight for 2 out of 3 here, but I do think the Sox come out swinging the right way because I'll tell you the truth. The next 10 games are going to decide what happens for the rest of the year for this team. This is the time where they need to kind of put it together and prove to the front office we deserve some kind of investment at the deadline. Give me 2 out of 3.
I'm also going 2 out of 3. I think they win the first 2 and lose the last one.
I'd be thrilled with that.
Yeah, I would be too. Yeah, I think they take the first 2 and lose the last one. They take 2 out of 3 in the series. Steele's nasty.
And I think I don't know. I look at Kyle Hendrick a little bit. I know he throws soft, but for a team that makes a lot of contact, he is amazing at making sure teams don't make, hard contact off of him. That matchup makes me a little bit nervous, but this is go time for the Red Sox. If they don't show up to start, it's going to be hard to picture them showing up the rest of the year.
I agree. All right. I'm already 15 minutes past when I should have left my house, so I'm going to do that. Thank you for listening. Sorry if you're disappointed that the episode is only a little bit more than a half hour, but we weren't going to leave you hanging on the Stop and Shop look ahead, but it was always designed to be a quick episode, even if I didn't have to leave. But we will be back on Sunday at the conclusion of this Cubs series. We'll see if Jake's hospital sweep holds up. Should be a fun one. Enjoy the weekend of baseball. Welcome back, Jake. Welcome back, fucking Sox. The second half is ready to go. The Boston Red Sox are rolling into Chicago to continue their 5-game winning streak, their 7-1 record in the month of July. They're only a game back of the New York Yankees. Can they make a run at this thing? I don't know, but we're going to find out starting on Friday.
Buenas noches, amigos.